Sup, bro? We're on to chapter 2 now. I hope the audio quality for this is good enough because I listened to a bit of the first chapter and I'm like, it's not great. But we're making dough. I hope it'll be alright. Maybe if I sit back. I don't know how to make it better, but I'm trying. Okay, so chapter 2. I need to go to head to the shop in a little bit so that she can go pick Indians. I'll be up from school. So I hope I can get through the whole chapter, but I have to cut it a little bit short. Anyways, chapter 2. Okay, take a breath. Let's not jump to wild conclusions. Yes, the gravity is too high. Work from there and think of sensible answers. I could be in a centrifuge. It would have to be pretty big. But with Earth's gravity providing 1g, you could have these rooms at an angle running around a track or on the end of a solid arm or something. Set that spinning and the aggregate centrifugal force plus Earth's gravity could be 15 meters per second per second. Why would somebody make a huge centrifuge with hospital beds and a lab in it? I don't know. Would it even be possible? How big would the radius have to be? How fast would it go? I think I know how to find out. I need an accurate accelerometer. Dropping things off a table and timing them is all well and fine in rough estimates, but it's only as accurate as my reaction time on hitting the stopwatch. I need something better. And only one thing will do the job, a small piece of string. I search the lab drawers. After a few minutes, I have half the drawers open and I found just about every form of lab supplies except string. I'm gonna give up when I finally find a spool of nylon thread. Yes! I pull off a few feet of thread and cut it with my teeth. I tie a loop on one end and I tie the other end around the tape measure. The tape measure will not be playing the role of tape measure will be playing. No, oh my god. So the tape measure will be playing the role of dead weight in this experiment. Now I just need something to hang it from. I look above me at the hatch over my head. I climb up the ladder, easier now than ever before, and I put the loop over the main latch handle. Then I let the tape measure's weight pull the string taut. I have a pendulum. Cool thing about pendulums, the time it takes for one to swing forward and backward the period won't change, no matter how wide it swings. If it's got a lot of energy, it'll swing farther and faster, but the period will stay the same. This is what mechanical clocks take advantage of to keep time. That period ends up being driven by two things, and the only two things, the length of the pendulum and gravity. But no, I read that wrong. I'm so sorry. It says, I'll do the sentence again. The period ends up being driven by two things, and two things only: the length of the pendulum and gravity. I pull the pendulum to one side. I release it and start the timer. I count cycles as it sways back and forth. It's not exciting. It's almost wanting to fall asleep, but I stay at it. When I hit the 10-minute mark, the pendulum is barely moving anymore, so I decide that's long enough. Grand total 346 full cycles in exactly 10 minutes. Onward to phase 2. I measure the distance from the hatch handle to the floor. It's just over 2.5 meters. I go back downstairs to the bedroom. Again, the ladder is no problem. I'm feeling so much better now. That food really did do the trick. What's your name? The computer asks. I look down at my sheet toga. I am the great philosopher Pendulaeus. Incorrect. I hang the pendulum on one of the robot hands near the ceiling. I'm hoping it'll stay still for a while. I eyeball the distance between the robot hand and the ceiling. I'll call it a meter. My pendulum is now 4.5 meters lower than it was before. I repeat the experiment. 10 minutes on the stopwatch. I count the total cycle. The result 346 cycles, same as upstairs. Golly. Thing is, in a centrifuge, the farther you get from the center, the higher the centrifugal force would be. So if I were in a centrifuge, the gravity down here would be higher than upstairs, and it isn't, at least. Not enough to get a different number of pendulum cycles. But what if I'm in a really big centrifuge? So, one so huge that the force between here and the lab is so small it doesn't change the number of cycles. Let's see. The formula for the pendulum and the formula for the force of the centrifuge. Wait, I don't have the actual force, just the cycle count. There's 1 over x factor involved. This is actually a very instructive problem. I have a pen, but no paper. That's okay. I have a wall. After a lot of crazy prisoner scribbling on a wall type stuff, I have my answer. Let's say I'm on Earth and in a centrifuge. That would mean the centrifuge provides half a G, the rest being supplied by Earth, according to my maths. And I showed all my work that centrifuge would be a 446-meter radius, which is more than a quarter mile, and it would be spinning at 48 meters per second, over 100 miles per hour. I don't think. Uh, I think mostly metric when I'm doing science stuff. Interesting. Most scientists do, though, right? Even scientists who grew up in America. Anyway, that would be the largest centrifuge ever built. Why would anyone build it? Plus, something like that would be loud as heck, whizzing through the air at 100 miles per hour. At least there'd be some turbulence here and there, not to mention a lot of wind noise. I don't hear or feel anything like that. This is getting weird. Okay, what if I'm in space? There wouldn't be turbulence or wind resistance, but the centrifuge would have to be a lot bigger and faster because there's no gravity to help out. More math, more graffiti on the wall. The radius would have to be 1,280 meters, close to a mile. Nothing anywhere near that big has been built for space. So I'm not on a centrifuge, and I'm not on Earth. Another planet? But there isn't any other planet, moon, or asteroid in the solar system that has this much gravity. Earth is the largest solid object in the whole system. Sure, the gas giants are bigger, but unless I'm in a balloon floating around in the winds of Jupiter, there's just nowhere that I could experience this force. How do I know all that space stuff? I just know it. It feels like second nature, information I use all the time. Maybe I'm an astronomer or planetary scientist. Maybe I work for NASA or ESA, or I met Marissa every Thursday night for steak and beer at Murphy's on Go Street, always at 6 p.m. because the staff knew us, always at the same table. We met almost 20 years ago in grad school. She dated my then roommate. Their relationship, like most in grad school, was a train wreck, and they broke up within 3 months. But she and I ended up becoming good friends. When the host saw me, he smiled and jerked his thumb towards the usual table. I made my way through the kitski decor to Marissa. She had a couple of empty lowball glasses in front of her and a full one in her other hand. Apparently, she'd gotten started early. Pre-gaming, huh? I said, sitting down. She looked down and fidgeted with her glass. Hey, what's wrong? She took a sip of whiskey. Rough day at work. I signaled the waiter. He nodded and didn't even come over. He knew I wanted a ribeye, medium, mashed potatoes on the side, and a pint of Guinness. Same thing I ordered every week. How rough could it be? I asked. Cushy government job with the DOE? Yeah. You probably get it. What? 20. Wait, I'm gonna just do that bit again. I'm so sorry. Cushy government job with the DOE. You probably get what? 20 days off a year? And all you have to do is show up and get paid, right? Again, no laugh. Nothing. Oh, come on, I said. Who pooped in your Rice Krispies? She sighed. You know about the Petrova line? Sure. It's kind of an interesting mystery. I guess it's solar radiation. Venus doesn't have a magnetic field, but positively charged particles might be drawn there because it's electrically neutral. No, she said. It's something else. We don't know exactly what it is, but it's something else. But whatever. Let's eat steak. I snorted. Come on, Marissa, spill it. What the heck is wrong with you? She mouthed it over. Why not? You'll hear it from the president in about 12 hours anyways. The president? I said. Of the United States? She took another gulp of whiskey. Whiskey. Oh, I'm not very good at reading, I'm sorry. She took another gulp of whiskey. Have you heard of Amaterasu? It's a Japanese solar probe. Oh, of course I've not heard of it. Wait, that was my own commentary. I'll go back to it. Sure, I said. JAXA has been getting some great data from it. It's really neat, actually. It's in solar orbit, about halfway between Mercury and Venus. It has 20 different instruments aboard that. Yeah, I know, whatever, she said. According to the data, the sun's output is decreasing. I shrugged. So, where are we in the solar system? She shook her head. That's not the 11-year cycle. It's something else. JAXA accounted for the cycle. They saw a downward trend. They say the sun is 0.01% less bright than it should be. Okay, interesting. but hardly worth 3 whiskeys before dinner. She pursed her lips. That's what I thought. But they're saying the value is increasing. The rate of the increase is increasing. It's some sort of exponential loss they've caught very, very early thanks to their probe's incredibly sensitive instruments. I leaned back in the booth. I don't know, Marissa. Spotting an exponential progression that early seems really unlikely. But okay, let's say the JXAA scientists are right. Where's the energy going? The Petrova line. Huh? JAXA took a long look at the Petrova line and they're saying it's getting brighter at the same rate that the sun is getting dimmer. Somehow or another, whatever it is, the Petrova line is stealing energy from the sun. She pulled a sheaf of papers from her purse and put them on the table. It looked like a bunch of graphs and charts. She shuffled through them until she found the one she wanted, and she pushed it towards me. The x-axis was labeled time, and the y-axis was labeled luminosity loss. The line was exponential for sure. This can't be right, I said. It's right, she said. The sun's output will drop a full percent over the next 9 years. In 20 years, that figure will be 5%. This is bad. It's really bad. I stared at the graph. That would mean like an ice age. Like right away. Instant ice age. Yeah, at the very least. And crop failures. Mass starvation. I don't even know what else. I shook my head. How can there be a sudden change in the sun? It's a star, for Christ's sake. Things just don't happen that fast for stars. Changes like that take millions of years. Not dozens. Come on, you know that. No, I don't. I used to know that. Now I know that the sun's dying, she said. I don't know why, and I don't know what we can do about it, but I know it's dying. How? I furrowed my brow. She downed the rest of her drink. President addresses the nation tomorrow morning. I think they are coordinating with other world leaders to all announce at the same time. The waiter dropped off my Guinness. Here you go, sir. The steaks should be out shortly. I need another whiskey, Marissa said. Make it 2. I blinked. Another flash of memory. Was it true? Was it just some random memory talking to someone who got stuck on a bogus doomsday theory? No, it's real. I'm terrified just thinking about it. It's not just sudden terror, it's a cozy, comfortable terror with a permanent seat at the table. I felt it for a long time. This is real. The sun is dying, and I'm tangled up in it. Not just a fellow citizen of Earth who will die with everyone else. I'm actively involved. There's a sense of responsibility there. Still don't remember my own name, but I do remember random bits of information about the Petrova problem. They called it the Petrova problem. I just remembered that. My subconscious has priorities, and is desperately telling me about this. I think my job is to solve the Petrova problem. A small lab. Bring a bed sheet, Toga. No idea who I am, and no help other than a mindless computer with 2 mummified roommates. My vision blurs. I wipe my tears. I can't remember their names, but they were my friends, my comrades. Only now do I remember I've been facing away from them the whole time. I've done everything I can to keep them out of my line of sight. Scrolling on the wall like a madman with the corpses of people I cared about right behind me. But now the distraction is over. I turn around to look at them. I sob. It comes without warning. I remember bits and pieces all in a rush. She was funny, always quick with the joke. He was professional with nerves of steel. I think he was military and he was definitely our leader. I fall to the floor and put my head in my hands. I can't hold anything back. I cry like a child. We were a lot more than friends. And team isn't the right word either. It's stronger than that. It's on the tip of my tongue. Finally, the words slipped out into my conscious mind. I had to wait until I wasn't looking to sneak in. Crew. We were crew. And I'm all that's left. This is a spacecraft. I know that. I don't know how it has gravity, but it's a spaceship. Things start to fall into place. We weren't sick, we were in suspended animation. But these beds aren't magical freeze chambers like in the movies. There's no special technology at play here. I think we were in medically induced comas, feeding tubes, IVs, constant medical care, everything a body needs. Those arms probably changed sheets, kept us rotated to prevent bed sores, and did all the other things ICU nurses would normally do. And we were kept fit. Electrodes all over our bodies to stimulate muscle movements, lots of exercise. But in the end, comas are dangerous, extremely dangerous. Only I survived and my brain is a pile of mush. I walk over to the woman. I actually feel better looking at her. Maybe it's a sense of closure, or maybe it's the calmness that comes after a crying jag. The mummy has no tubes attached, no monitoring equipment at all. There's a small hole in her leathery wrist. That's where the IV was when she died, I guess, so the hole never healed. The computer must have removed everything when she died. Waste not, want not, I guess. No point in using resources on dead people. More for the survivors. More for me, in other words. I take a deep breath and let it out. I have to be calm. I have to think clearly. I remembered a lot just then. My crew, some aspects of their personalities, that I'm on a spaceship. I freak out about that later. The point is, I'm getting more memories back, and they're coming sort of when I want them instead of at random intervals. I want to focus on that, but the sadness is just so strong. Eat, says the computer. A panel on the ceiling opens up and a food tube drops out. One of the one of the robot arms catches it and places it on my bed. The label reads, Day 1, Meal 2. I'm not in the mood to eat, but my stomach growls as soon as I see the tube. Whatever my meal state may be, my body has needs. I open the tube and squirt goop into my mouth. I have to admit, it is another incredible flavour sensation. I think it's chicken with a hint of vegetables. There's no texture, of course. It's basically baby food, and it's a little thicker than my earlier meal. It's all about getting my digestive system used to solid food again. Water, I say between mouthfuls. The ceiling panel opens again, this time with a metal cylinder. An arm brings it to me. Text on the shiny container reads potable water. I screw the top, and sure enough, there's water in there. I take a sip. It's room temperature and tastes flat. It's probably distilled and devoid of minerals, but water's water. I finish the rest of my meal. I haven't had to use the bathroom yet, but I'll need to eventually. I'd rather not go way on the floor. Toilet, I say. The wall panel spins around to reveal a metal commode. It's just there in the wall, like a prison cell. I take a closer look. It has buttons and stuff on it, and I think there's a vacuum pipe in the bottom. But there's no water. I think this might be a zero gravity toilet modified for use modified for use in gravity. Sorry, babe. Why do that? Okay, dismiss toilet. The wall swivels around again. The toilet is gone. Alright, I'm well fed, feeling a little better about things. Food will do that. I need to focus on some positives. I'm alive. Whatever killed my friends didn't kill me. I'm on a spaceship. I don't know the details, but I know I'm on a ship that seems to be working correctly. And my mental state is improving. I'm sure of it. I sit cross-legged on the floor, this time for a proactive step. I close my eyes and let my mind wander. I want to remember something, anything, on purpose. I don't care what, but I want to initiate it. Let's see what I get. I start with what makes me happy. I like science, I know that. I got a thrill from the little experiments I've been doing, and I'm in space. So maybe I can think about space and science and see what I get. Okay, so this chapter's not done yet, but I have to go to Nom for a little bit so that I can go grab her girls from school. So I'll finish this chapter off a little bit later. I love you very much, and I hope you're finding this interesting. The audio quality isn't horrible, and I don't know how many hours are gonna be here because the Kindle reckons we've got 14 hours of the book to go. Ooh, we got this. It's fun. I love you. Bye.